Hi, students. How are you doing? Welcome to Sim, and thank you all so much for all the love and support. Hope you all are doing great. So, this man thought this is a great idea to come out and make this stupid video, right? This man has connection with Donald Trump and also part of the people in connection with Project 2025. But I am leaving all that behind and I am calling him out, right? So this man thought it is wise for him to come out and gaslight himself, saying that if anything happens to Black people, we are always quick to say that we have to look for the root of what is going on. But when they do mass PewPew, right, that we are also very quick to say that they should ban PewPew. And this man thought he ate. Bro, you did not eat. You did not eat. Because how do you see everything going on, especially every week or every month? There is always mass PewPew. And all you could say with everything that happened, including someone that looked like me that lost his life, you are coming out to take a swipe at us. For what? You all really have lost your humanity. Because if you do have your humanity, why would somebody be thinking of the best thing a human being should be thinking is how to solve this problem, not looking for a way to bring Black community into what is going on, because they do not have any connection to what is going on. This is how to tell you how evil-minded some people are and how they cannot get Black people's name out of their mouth. Let's get into this.
Black teens commit crimes. Liberals say we need to explore the root causes. But when a mass shooting occurs, they call for banning all firearms immediately. Interesting.
So the guy in this video eating that delicious looking burger, he's one of the key contributors to Project 2025, which wants to roll back civil rights in this country. And if you're watching this wondering where you can find his original video, he must have deleted that masterpiece once he realized that he knows absolutely nothing about the Black community, let alone any community that isn't the white, far right. Fortunately, I happened to be scrolling on TikTok right when he posted this, so now I have the privilege of being able to share this masterpiece with you all for your access and pleasure. Because you know what they say about the internet, John? Once you post something, it truly never goes away. Kind of like how that background check showed that severe gambling problem you have. You should probably stay off DraftKings for a little bit.
When Black teens commit crimes, liberals say we need to explore the root causes. But when a mass shooting occurs, they call for banning all firearms immediately. Interesting.
So let me get this straight. Yet another school shooting happens in like the second week of their school year, where a Black teen died from the hands of a white teen. And you took that as an opportunity to make a point about Black crime and gun control? Are you serious? Are you stupid? I can easily acknowledge that there needs to be a cultural shift in the attitude towards violence in the Black community, in the attitude towards weapons, the culture in music about ending the lives of other Black people. Yeah, that's obvious. But it's also obvious that there needs to be a cultural shift in white people's attitude towards violence as well. When y'all are out here playing games, first-person shooter games, calling each other the N-word at the same time, and you're socially awkward and really can't speak to people in real life when you get off of those games, but those games cause you to fantasize about actually doing those things in real life, and then you actually do them? Does there not need to be a cultural shift in the white community? Because all of these mass shooters are white. Are they not? So it's laughable and ironic that you think that when you make these points, you're not racist. Because if you look at a mass shooting caused by yet another white kid as an opportunity to make a point about Black kids, something's wrong up here. Because why are we on your mind when a Black kid just died in said shooting? Like, you're fucking dumb. That's why you deleted that shit. Because you knew that was crazy. But you still said it and posted it. So we're not going to forget. I'm tired of us always being in your mouths. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of that shit. Because you have so much to say about our community, But look at yours. This didn't even have to be about race. It really didn't. It should have been about this whole country and the attitude towards guns. And are they really trying to ban all firearms or just the ones that these people keep using in these shootings? The AR-15, the same assault rifle that no civilian needs. What the hell do you need a gun that shoots all that ammo that quickly for? For what? What's the reason? You can't explain, can you? Y'all are just selfish and stupid. You're selfish and stupid. That's it. That's it. And then you want to talk about black people. Shut the fuck up. Fix your community and then you'll have freedom of speech. Fix yours. Because in the black community, they're killing each other, which is unfortunate. In your community, they're killing everybody else. And not just here, they're doing it around the globe. Right? So fix your shit before you talk about us.
My conspiracy of the day as to why lawmakers fail to take more concerted action on gun control measures is because it's in their best interest to have a population full of people, or a country full of people, who are constantly living in fear and terror of the next mass violence incident. It's in their best vested interest, actually, for us to consistently be afraid and fearful of our neighbors, of our community members, and to be distrustful of one another, and to just have a constant state of anxiety and terror. Because in that constant state of uncertainty, we're easier to control, we're more malleable. If you and I are in constant fear of being shut up in a public place or in a school classroom or just literally anywhere, if we're constantly distrustful of our community partners and neighbors and friends and so on and so forth, if we're constantly on edge and living on the edge of our seats at all times, our energy is absorbed then by living in that fear, and we can't direct our energy towards lawmakers to do something about gun control. Instead, we're too focused on trying to survive and too focused on being afraid and being worried and being anxious, more than we're focused on turning our energy and our attention to our lawmakers and demanding that they enact some kind of legislative change on gun control. It ties into capitalism as well. If you're someone who is always underpaid and wages are always so low that you're just scraping by and you have next to nothing and you're living paycheck to paycheck and you can't afford to own a home, so you don't have any equity or any wealth or any self-wealth in your name, and everything that you have is either rented or is a subscription. You can't even physically own physical media anymore, or you can't own certain things that used to be just purchased one time and then bought forever. Everything is a subscription, and you're always worked to the bone because one job isn't enough to pay all of your expenses. You have to have 2 jobs and 3 jobs and a side hustle and monetize your hobbies. Then you're too tired. Your energy is zapped focusing on trying to survive instead of focusing on organizing with your community, with your neighbors, with your partners, with your loved ones, organizing and protesting and demanding change. Living under the constancy of fear of mass violence incidences, we're too afraid. We'll just accept anything. Another facet of that is that as a result of being in fear all the time, we're more likely to accept legislation that is more fascist. For example, living in fear of people coming to shoot up schools, you're more susceptible to something like the idea of Cop City, what they're trying to do in Atlanta. You're more susceptible to the idea of drones being used to bomb potential terrorists in other countries because, well, if that's what it takes for me to feel safe again, if that's what it takes for me to feel normal and not feel anxious again and eliminate this invisible enemy that we can't seem to identify, if that's what it takes, I'm fine with it. It makes you more susceptible, more malleable to more draconian fascist legislative acts, as opposed to organizing and demanding change that these lawmakers are perfectly capable of enacting. We're all living through the pandemic now. When the pandemic began in 2020, they enacted laws and released funding for food assistance, for housing assistance, for cash assistance, for unemployment assistance, for wage earners, and for freelancers and gig workers. They released that funding and released those legislative acts in seconds. They did it just like that in the blink of an eye. So they can do it if they want to, if it's important enough to them. They had eviction moratoriums, for crying out loud. Like, people were getting more, earning more from the unemployment wages from the pandemic than they were earning from the jobs that they worked that required experience and college degrees, right? So they can do something about gun control. They can do something about inflation. They can do something about the housing crisis. They can do something about women's rights. They choose not to. It's in our best interest to always be afraid, to always be scared, to always be striving and wanting for more, to be too burnt out from working multiple jobs and trying to survive, scraping a living by, so that we're too busy focusing on day-to-day survival because that's where all of our energy is gone, rather than focusing on organizing and protesting. You see what happened when people's basic needs were met at the beginning of the pandemic, and we were fed, adequately housed, adequately paid. We had time and energy to go do the George Floyd protests, which became a global movement. The George Floyd protests were like the closest we came to global resistance, to global revolution. It was this close. Why? Because we had the time, we had the energy, we were being fed, we were being paid, we were being housed, we weren't being overworked. All of our basic needs were being met. That's why after the George Floyd protests, within like 30 days, they were demanding people go back to work. They were getting rid of all the additional funding that they had released. They were undoing all the emergency orders that they enacted, because they saw, well, if people have time on their hands, if people have their needs met, if they have the money that they need to survive, if they have the housing and the food and the childcare and the healthcare, then they have all the time in the world to turn their energy on us, the ruling class, and we can't have that. That is why we're not getting gun control the way we want to. So me personally, I think since these politicians aren't afraid of protest anymore, if they're not afraid of people boycotting their goods or boycotting their services anymore, we have to take it to the next level. Whatever that next level looks or feels like, I'm not going to specify. I'm not going to say out loud. Instead, I'm going to ask you to turn to your history books. I'm going to ask you to look at things like the Russian Revolution and the French Revolution, and look at what happens to elected officials leading up to these resistance movements. I'm going to ask you to do that instead, and then let that guide how we organize in our communities and in our networks.
Since getting on TikTok, I have yet to go one calendar year without needing to make a school shooting video. So here we go again. And this is getting so bad to a point where it's almost becoming comical. The father of the shooter was also just arrested and charged with 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter, 2 counts of second-degree murder, and 8 counts of cruelty to children. Why did they go get the father? It's funny you might ask that, because in May 2023, when the shooter was 13 years old, the FBI visited him and his dad because there are reports that he might have been talking about making threats and alluding to shooting up a school online. The father told the FBI, oh, they had hunting guns and he doesn't have any unsupervised access to them, blah, blah, blah. And then the kid denied making the threats online. FBI said, well, look like ain't nothing we can do about it. Then the motherfucking father bought his son, who got visited by the FBI at age fucking 13, an AR-15 for Christmas. You got visited by the FBI because allegedly your son might want to shoot up a thing, and then you bought said son an AR a few months after. As a result of that, 4 people, 2 teachers and 2 students, are now dead, and many more are injured. Remember, y'all, we do not have a gun problem in the United States. Remember, y'all, a vast majority of these shootings and everything and gun deaths don't even come from mass shootings and AR-15. Imagine banning a thing when the vast majority of people are using it correctly. Ah, my bad. I forgot. If hammers were being used for their primary purpose, but, you know, tens of thousands of times each year, the hammer user ends up dead, or, you know, children end up dead. I think we should look into doing something about fucking hammers at that point. This was the 45th, hold on, let me check my fucking sources. I was gonna say 45th mass shooting. This is the 45th school shooting this year. We just hit September. Quote from Project 2025. Children suffer the toxic normalization of transgenderism with drag queens and pornography invading their school libraries. I can tell you what the fuck children are suffering from. And it's not transgender people in a fucking book. Y'all inability to even want to have a practical discussion about actually solving this issue is one of the most disgusting, inhumane things I've seen recurrent over the last how many years. I'll provide y'all with more updates. I don't want to hear shit from any of you goofies out there. Fuck the thoughts, fuck the prayers. Y'all are cooked at this point.
So this is all I got from this video. And sincerely speaking, I am tired of these people waking up every day to gaslight themselves, because this is gaslighting 101, if I am being truthful with you. Now, you all already saw what happened in Appalachia, right? And how someone that looked like me was also PewPew out some other people, right? So this silly man came out, and all he could talk about is look for a way to drag black people into that. See, really, that man really needs a big time. He needs to go for mental check, because I just can't imagine how everything is content. Everything cannot be content. You can see that people died and people are mourning. First of all, you all decided to use a black young boy's face to, like, to cover up like he was the one that did what happened before people started screaming, and you all decided to, like, eventually bring out the picture of the person that did what he did. And now what this man is talking about is that when something happens to black people, liberals will say, like, let them explore the root cause of what is going on, right? But when there is a mass shooting, they call for a banning of firearms and all that. See, it's only a stupid person that will come out and say that there is no need for gun control or firearm control. It's only a very silly person that will come out and say that. And I am not wishing anybody bad, right? But I hope, like, one day, table will turn so that some people will experience some things that they felt like other people are experiencing, but because it is not affecting them for that reason, they cannot relate. Some of them are doing all this, are coming out to say some stupid shit, right? Because they have not been in the shoes of people going through this. Do you know what it means to send your child to school and then your child did not make it back home? Do you know what it means to probably drop your wife off from school, or your wife you saw, or your husband, or your loved one that you saw, just you are waiting for them to come back from work, only to get a message that there is mass PewPew by a silly person who gave a 13-year-old child PewPew. See, some things are, some things are definitely something that that could be avoided, or that is avoidable, right? And seeing the signs that this young man has tendency of doing something, right? And they still give him that PewPew. And this silly man is coming out here online to yell on us. If there is anything going on in black community, okay, like he said, black community are, like, probably doing one or two things to themselves, right? It is black community to black community, right? But you all are targeting, everybody is actually safe. Nobody is safe. He knew that he messed up, this silly man, and then he decided to delete it. Well, people already grabbed that video. Man, see, this is bullshit. I am not going to lie to you. This is very, very silly, comment and a silly video that he made. That you are in your house. And am I telling you that this young man is a part of Donald Trump's campaign, whatever that it's going on, and also part of the Project 2025 that everybody has been screaming about? This silly man, Mike McKenzie, or what his name is, I don't care. See, first of all, I cannot come and start tackling black community or start tackling Asian community when my community is, like, really also going through their own phase, right? And I am leaving what is going on in my community to come and start. I only tackle them when there is need to tackle them. I do not wake up and say that probably we are trying to, my community is trying to burn somebody's house. And instead of holding my own community accountable, I am holding Asian community accountable for what is going on in my community. Like, how is that even possible? Does it work that way? It doesn't work that way. I mean, really, people can use their initiative. It does not take anything to be sensible, You don't have to, everything must not be content or everything must not be stupidity, because this is like somebody displaying the stupidity. Lives are wasting, things are going wrong, and all you could do was just come out here and make that silly comment. Man, if you are living where you are living, especially in US, and you think that with everything that has been going on, especially when it comes to mass PewPew, school just resumed. I don't know if you guys are aware, like this is just, the school's just resumed, right? And it was just their first week. Now, chill. I want you to know that probably in second week or third week, you will hear the same thing happen in another school. I don't know if you get what I am saying. It is still going to happen. It happens literally every week or every month, different places. And you all are not even thinking about people's lives, like people that are, what happened to humanity, right? What happened to trying to put other people, trying to, see how do I feel if this happened to me? I really don't understand. But I don't know if this is a political whatever that happened, but trust me, this is not okay. And if you are coming out here to gaslight or take a swipe at Black people because you all refuse to do what you know that you all are supposed to, see, you all should go do your homework. Go do your homework and stop coming for people that got that are not even bothering you, because you see what is going on in your community and what your community did, and the best you can do or you could do was just to come out and make that silly video. TikTok should ban some people's handle, because this man he's not fit to have like what is it called, a social media handle, because if that is his mindset, that is a very corrupt mindset, and people should not roll this way, because this is a very horrible mindset, and this mindset will also destroy other people. You all can do better. See you all in my next video. Bye for now.